why don't we go ahead and actually start? So, hello everybody, welcome to the August 25th AMA. We've been doing this weekly AMA since last year. Around July, we meet to share what's going on with the team, everyone, answer questions, share news, and you know, we have a bit of we have some news to share with you from the team with love. So, why don't we get started? Oh, sorry. It was better when it was louder and more clear. Lazy Lumberjack is saying in the comments. Maybe you can amp up the volume.
Sure. Okay, I'm back.
So, no, I meant listeners. So that's fine. So, Farmer Michelle, how are you?
Good. I think our first headline today is to talk about the golden heart necklace and the Panners, that whole Panner
That's
family
right.
NFTs.
Yeah. So, we introduced a bunch of new content last Friday. Not only the six banner NFTs, but also a bunch of crafts. I'll mention everything later. But yeah, a lot of things came out last Friday. Sadly, some bugs were also introduced with the Panner family. We're really sorry about that. Like they are very complicated NFTs, and there's six of them. So we missed a couple spots, so we're really sorry about it. And for that, we had to delay the Golden Heart Necklace competition until next week. We set up two test competitions running Wednesday through Friday, and then immediately after, like once this competition ends today, you'll get another test competition running Friday to Monday. I know that we have released two times in the past 2 days to fix a bunch of those issues. I'm hoping that very little issues are remaining. I think that most of them are fixed. So you should be able to test these new NFTs and this competition over the weekend to be prepared for next Tuesday. So and just as a note, we did get this question. We are not changing biome, super tiles, or any other parameters. So whatever you experience in this competition, in today's test competition, will be the same that we'll have on Tuesday. So no changes to biome, super tiles, or anything else. So that's our update on Golden Heart Necklace. Thank you guys for your patience. And I think it's going to be an interesting one. Nice rewards too at the end. So, what is next for me, Michelle?
Let's talk about that light paper. Seems like everybody wants to hear what's going on with the light paper. So,
The light paper. So, so my news is an announcement of an announcement. So, what I can tell you is that in next Friday's AMA, September 1st, we'll give you the proper outline. So next Friday, I'm expecting to come here and have a good discussion on how it's going to work, high level. But Sage will give us a little bit more info in a few. So yeah,
You want to share now, or
uh,
should we wait a
ho-
bit?
however you want, Sage. Is the stage is
Oh,
yours.
well, let's just talk about it now. So I've been going over it. I mentioned last week again, going over in detail with Que Sera Sera. One of the things we're at now, just to give you guys an understanding of the approach, look at the high levels. I think we get the high level strategy right. The mid level, which is in terms of distributions and the concept of sources in sync for what we want to do with it. Make sure that we get that balance. We really want to make sure we don't auto create, or at least we manage any kind of inflationary or deflationary pressures according to gameplay. And so now we're at that third level where I'm asking for a few more specifics on how the model ties into gameplay. Because if you look at this one way, you can have your tokenomics model just floating on top of your game and not really attached to it. And that's cool. I'd like to see if we can actually integrate it a little more deeper into actually the mechanics of the game and how it works. And so that's the stage that we're at. If this was last year, we'd probably have yeeted this model out by now. But we've learned a lot in the last 12 months, and I just want to take that extra step to get it right. We could have yeeted it today or shared it out today, but I just asked Musashi to wait just a little bit longer so we can go through another round on this. So once we're able to do that, we'll be able to share the outline next week, and then of course we just got to write up the light paper. And sometimes the light paper takes a little bit extra long because we've got to send it through a legal department and make sure that we dot our I's and cross our T's. So that's the update on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Faith. So, just to reiterate, next Friday, September 1st, in the AMA, we'll have the high level outline to share. I don't know exactly, we'll have the light paper to also drop for you to check out more properly. If not, it will be, some days later after that. But yeah, so the announcement coming next week. Thank you guys for your patience. Just as a joke or as an internal joke, we were discussing yesterday EVE Online, which is a very complex game. It's like, oh, those guys had an internal economy and they hire PhDs in economy and everything to make it right. So we do have pretty smart people here. We are trying to make sure that it's good. That it's not gonna explode in a couple minutes. So that's why it's taking a little longer. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Cassandra and Sage, for taking the lead there. So what's up next, Miss
Let's
Carmen?
see here. There's some reward distributions that I'm hoping are coming out today. They may not be out today. They may not be out till Monday, but that'll be for the silver ore storage, the uncommon, the common, and the rare one, and that 5% cash boost NFT is all ready now. It's just got to get sent out to player wallets, so that should also be sent either today or Monday, maybe Tuesday at the absolute latest. But I wouldn't think it would be that late. Also, as a reminder, everyone's got to finish
Wait,
burning their town into Gala. Sorry, did you get to say something?
yeah. So let's stay in that for a minute. So we have the silver ore storage coming out. The next one is gold ore storage. That's going out. The first for 2 days of the next month. So that's almost ready to go. Sorry for the delay on silver ore storage. Gold ore storage will not have that issue. But the important thing is the compensation for the first time we did fast forward. We announced that we'll give an NFT for that, and I think that's looking really good. Have you leaked any of that to to our Discord?
No, I don't think any of the art has been leaked at all. I haven't.
Okay,
I
that's
haven't seen it in the
interesting.
Discord. I've only seen it internally.
Okay, maybe it'll be a funny surprise for everybody, but that's coming out like very soon. You'll get that in your wallets, today or Monday, and that'll be available for everybody that participated in that competition and was affected by the first fast forward iteration. Sorry, go ahead with the town burn to Gala.
Don't forget to burn your town and turn it into Gala. You've got just over 2 weeks left if you haven't done it. So if you need help, let me know. Let's see what's next here. Do we have any social media updates from Ninja Surprise?
Yeah, I got a few I think I can toss out there. So as you may have seen with the sale last week for the Panner family, I was experimenting a little bit with some 3D assets, a little bit of some animations, and having some fun with that. So I'm trying to bring a little bit more, some diversification to the posts that are going out on social media, and having a little bit more fun with it, and having the 3D models and some animators by my side. I've been able to experiment and create some more lively scenes, which has been pretty fun. So if you want to go check those out, I have a couple of more going out, and hopefully the social medias will have a little bit more differentiation included on them. Additionally, too, I wanted to just give some, just spotlight one of our Zealy community members, NFT Drops, who did a really awesome video on the Haunted East Wing. He's been doing some NFT spotlights and trying to introduce to new players just exactly how certain NFTs can be used in game, and he wants to create more of those videos. So I think that the content that he's been really producing, and he's been working really hard on the Zealy quest. So I wanted to just give him some props, and definitely keep up what you're doing. I think that a lot of people in the Townstar community could really benefit from that type of content. And additionally, too, if you guys haven't checked out Azealia yet, be sure to do that. You can actually get 50 Zealy XP for just attending these AMAs. So I'll drop the link for that in a second in the Discord. And I'm pretty sure that we'll have a link going out soon for the general Zealy too, if you guys want to check that out. And the last thing about, not necessarily about social media, but about something that a new product that Gala actually launched called the NFT mystery boxes. So these boxes are very mysterious, and what exactly is in them is a bunch of different NFTs from a bunch of different Gala games. So this means NFTs from Townstar as well. So one thing that we wanted to just alert you guys about, if you guys do want to buy some of these boxes, is that these Townstar NFTs are currently on Gala Chain, and Gala Chain is really going to ease a lot of the friction that a lot of other players encountered with Ethereum, such as like really high gas fees, slow transaction time, stuff like that. So Gala Chain is really the way to go forward here, and these will be usable in game once we enable Gala Chain. So just a quick warning about that, but the mystery boxes have been really fun. A lot of people have been loving them, so definitely check them out if you guys can. And that's pretty much it from me.
That's awesome. I love what's going on with Zeely. That's pretty interesting. What players are contributing to the game, and that actually ties into something we'll talk about later. So that's great.
Exactly.
Thank you, Mr. Ninja Surprise.
Do we want to move into a new art from SageMaker?
Yeah.
Sage, you ready for art, or do we want to do game updates first?
Let's go ahead and do game updates first.
Sounds good.
Sure.
Musashi?
No problem. So let's see. Player facing bugs this week. We had the fixes to panners in the two releases that we've done in the last 2 days. Please check it out. Play again with those guys. You have a full test competition coming up again today, so you can try your hand at it. Then we have some fixes for mine and shallow mine construction sites. We had an issue with the graded ceramic ghost cards. They were not working properly for some of the new competition crafts that we introduced, so that's good. And then regarding additions, so this week we added the Planet Family NFTs. That's 6 NFTs: Papa, Mama, Copper, Sylvester, Goldie, and the Sister Josa Lily, which is a single NFT, by the way. The new crafts we added quite a few too. So sterling silver jump ring, heart shaped print, gold plated heart pendant, and of course the golden heart necklace, which is a big craft of the competition. I think that the fun part with this is that we're trying to introduce older lines that benefit from older NFTs into the new competitions. So I think that's pretty cool, and we have more of that lineup for future new content. Also, a couple of blueprints were included: the Crafty Fishing Platform NFT and the Hasty Jeweler NFT, and of course, all the Golden Heart necklace competitions were put up. I think there are some fixes, other fixes, Bulkrum, that you want to mention.
Yeah, sure do. Let's see. Let me scroll back a little here. There were quite a bit. The past week, as we'll talk about in a minute or in a bit here, is mostly on stability, Gala chain nodes, work in that direction. But this week, there's been Panner family fixes. That's been interesting because there were so many, right, and so many combinations to test there. A couple bugs, actually a few bugs went live with that, but they were fixed pretty quickly. So that was good to see the turnaround on it. Of course, we added those blueprints, and there was a logic error in the inventory screen that was affecting some people. That's been fixed. There was the refresh. This one was interesting because if you place a building or an NFT, effects in the game, proximity effects, all that, it'd be fine. But when you refresh, they were borked, and that was fixed. That was a data only fix. So for those of you that write code, that might surprise you a little bit. So that was cool. Yeah, and that is what we call internally. We kind of call buffs. Those were fixed as well. And there was an error some people were seeing when you were removing a building. That's been fixed. And then there was if you want to sound fancy, you say like marshaling, unmarshaling, or serializing, unserializing. There was a issue with that we fixed as well. So yeah, that's kind of the highlights of some of the fixes that have gone out the past week. I think that's back to you in the Musashi Tower.
The mustache.
That's funny.
Okay, so let's see. I think next is what's coming up next for the game, right?
Yep.
Okay, guys. So here's what we're working on. Apart from the things that we've mentioned before, we have a request for nuking casual towns from the main menu, given that now we have fast forward, and in some instances, if you've been out of that town for a while, it can take a long time to bring it up to speed. So what we want to do is add some functionality for nuking those towns from the main menu. I think that that will be really good. We can potentially also add it to competitions just in case. The next thing is that we're looking to add a timer when you click on a trade unit, which will indicate how long until that unit will become available again. The track goes away, and it takes some time and then comes back. We're changing those numbers every competition, so it can be 60 seconds, 80 seconds, 240 seconds. But there's no good indication of how long until it comes back. So we're looking into that too as a quality of life improvement. The main thing we're doing right now is FTU EV1. As you know, that's not for you veterans, but it's quite important the um, for the new players that we want to bring in. So, as you know, we've been working in mobile first. That's great. It's working very well. But we also need to have some sort of FTUE, which means first time user experience. Some slides to say, hey, this is how you can play the game, and here's a hub of resources. We're showing that in the screen right now. Let me see if I can share it in Discord. One second. So I think that the ETA for that is like another week or two. But once it goes out, new players will get some more information, and basically like a deck of like some slides that say, hey, so first you need to start producing things, and then you can transform it into something else, like wheat into flour, and then you can sell it to get cash, and you can buy new buildings, and finally it will end with the image you see there, like this hub where they can go to video guides, game guides, community playbook, and of course come to the Discord community to get more help. So that's where potentially some of the user-generated content that has been amazing comes into place, right? So any good video guys, we can link to them. Of course, first asking for permission from you guys, and that will be a great way from new players from the game to get information on how to play the game. So that's going nicely. The next thing is Gala chain. As you know, that's in progress. We still have some weeks before that becomes available. Once we do, remember that all new NFTs will be minted in Gala chain, not in ETH. And of course, the other thing that is ongoing is the first use for nodes. The first use for nodes is going to be IPFS. We get a bunch of information from servers right now, and we'll move that to IPFS. And that's moving ahead nicely too. And ideally, next week we'll share the tokenomics plan, right? High level. But what we want to do is reward node owners who are providing files for other players in the game. So that will be one of the first ways, or one of the main ways in which node owners will get rewarded for running their nodes and serving the game. More information on nodes next week. Then, Mr. Bulcrum, what else is
Yeah.
coming for the game?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you touched on nodes. There's so much, right? I mean, you personally know, but maybe our players don't know. There's all these ideas about what we can use it for. So, we've put a lot of time this past week into providing estimates to the Musashi Tower and the executives about some of the options we have for nodes. Ideas came in from all over the company, and some of them are really awesome. So it's very exciting to see where that's going to go. Right now, like the simplest one is just in-game detecting that if you own a node, that's an important unlock that'll let us introduce some really fun mechanics. I think everybody will enjoy. Let's see. Internally, we have a ton of tools that we need, to run the game, and we're coming up on month 4 after we went live without the allow list, right, in May. Of course, people have been playing since February, but I think the game is mature enough, and the team is finding that our need for better internal tools is growing. So that's it's less than awesome, when a data bug sneaks into production, and better tooling and reporting will help us address that. And there's just so many large combinations of run speeds and drop offs and crafting and pathing and all that. So we've been working on internal tooling to bring some clarity to some of those situations. And of course, there's always the Godot engine itself. We're looking at some engine mods, some actual deep level changes to support runtime loading of 3D assets. Anybody who's a Godot fan in the audience would be like, "Hey, why don't you just runtime load the pack files?" Like, well, that's an option for some operating systems, but um, the primary use case is not. It's not just for Vox, but because there's like 3.5 gigs of Vox data, but Vox will be only will be possible once we do this engine modification. So, for those of you wondering, like, why isn't my cute little Vox in the game yet? Like, well, we have to we have to support runtime loading of those remote assets to do it. So we don't want you to have to download 3 gigs every time you hit refresh, or really ever, if we can help it. And then the last one, I guess, just it's good to touch on stability. Um, you want a stable game, you want reliable tools and everything. So it's ongoing, but it's worth mentioning every week that when we're not like fixing bugs or making features, we're addressing the stability of the game and the core. So you have to pick the top juice for the squeeze, as you might say. And we're lucky to be at a very engineering heavy company where a lot of these people don't even they understand the value of good stable tools. So that's been kind of a high level overview of the large Townstar initiatives from the engineering side over the past week.
Awesome.
Okay,
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Volcron. Mr. Volcron. So, lots of things going on, both on terms of engineering and design. Notes, tokenomics. It's all pretty interesting and coming together. So that's pretty awesome to see. Um, what is our next section, Mr.
I think it's time for
Um,
art.
Yeah,
it
let's
time
do
for
Were
art.
you about to say art? Were you about to say art? All right.
I was
So I've just
I was about to say art exactly.
popped in some images there real quick. Workhouse, Pumpkin Patch, Orb of Hope, Lux Energy Storage. One of the things that two of my favorite um, pieces are here: the Orb of Hope and the Valentine's Day stand. Just because the Valentine's Day stand is so unique and different. But the Orb of Hope shows one of the things I like about making games is you can actually create structures that can't exist in the physical world yet. So the way that looks is cool. I'm gonna drop a couple more images in there. This is come on, let me pop this down there. Here we go. Again, we kind of show stuff behind the scenes as we're working on things, and this is our art board. You can see that we're working on the wood storage there, and then also the maze, right? The Halloween maze there. We looked at that, and it's funny when you look at the original from TSL. You're just like, wow, this was pretty cool back then. But now, as we're looking at the upgraded art, we know we need to do some pretty significant work on that one. And then this next image I'm going to show here, again, just gives you guys, everybody, the idea on what we go through in terms of trying to make sure we get the size of everything right. When you're looking at the luxury energy storage, the original one is taller than the silo. And we talked about, like, with the wizard towers and whatnot, we're trying to get the sizes down a little bit, so you don't have to rotate your board to see what's behind it. A little bit of update on the tomato farm concept there. I think that's pretty good right now. We cleaned it up to try to stop overlap and kind of visual confusion. And then you can just see how the rest of the stuff is shaping up there too. So we're getting closer and closer and closer to actually dropping a slide for everybody. And that's all we got there. So there's the art update.
Awesome. Thanks. Stuff is coming along really well. I'm so excited to see it get to the live game. So excited. Do we want to move on to Q&A? I think we do. The first question that I have here says, I know there are a lot of us who would really like to have a better overall understanding of where the game is headed long term. I know it's not a question, but we're going to pretend it's a question.
Yeah, sorry, I was I was making a meme and posting it there in Discord, but this is
Yay!
my So I know there are a lot of us who would really like to have a better overall understanding where the game is heading. Yes, definitely, right? So I've told this before. We've implemented mobile versions. As you know, we've been beating a drum for a couple weeks. That effort took a good couple, 2 or 3 weeks to make it happen. But the objective of that is for people to be able to play in their phones and access more and more people and a bigger audience, right? But that only works in conjunction with the FTUE, which I just showed, right? So we're doing tests, or plans to do a test of saying, okay, let's make the game available for more people through mobile. Let's have FTUE to explain to new players the basics and also give them a hub from where they can get more resources and more information, reach out to the community, and
Did
and
you
so
say
on.
give them a hug?
A
So we
hub.
want to give them a hug?
We do want to give them a hug, but I meant a hub. HUB. Sorry for my English, Sage. So we have to give them a hub from where they can find the all the information they may need to play the game better, right? I know that a lot of new players come in and they find everything very cryptic, so this is very important, right? So this is all mobile and tutorial, a way to attract new players, right? So that's one part of it. But then we have the revamped tokenomics model, right? That has taken some time, but once we reveal it, you'll know more about our plans for the future, how it ties into nodes, how it ties into Gala chain, and how we're intending to bring the game to more and more people. Nodes is a very integral part of that vision. That's why we're developing for them, and that's why we're expecting IPFS to be available in Nodes in a couple of weeks. But we'll share more information and a roadmap uh, next Friday. And when you get the live paper in your hands, you'll get a better understanding of where the game is going. So that's kind of like the general vision for now. Immediately trying to reach more people and get them to understand the game more easily. And broader picture, you'll see it in the tokenomics model. What's the next question?
The next question I have here says, at what point do you plan to try to increase the player base?
Increase the player base. Well, I mean, that's what the tutorial feature is for, right? And the mobile version. I just mentioned that, but if that's successful, we want to start thinking about mobile apps, right? So first, we'll do this test. We'll check out how people react to this new tutorial, right? Simple tutorial, and ideally, what we want to do is present the white paper, start building the new features and the roadmap for the new tokenomics plan and nodes, and then I want to get this game to actual mobile. Right now, we're supporting mobile browsers, but the cool thing would be to have the game in the Play Store, in the App Store, so that more and more and more people can actually download it and play it more easily. So that's it, like the next step for that. What's next?
Oh, the next question I have says, we all know that not all players are fond of farming type games. What measures does your team take to get players interested and active in Townstar? What differentiates you from other farming games out there?
That's an interesting question. Uh, so as far as I know, this is the only game of this style, like farming style, where you can own your buildings, you can own your units, you can compete. Like we have very interesting hard competitions that sometimes can get really heated. You can earn rewards and you can sell your NFTs freely and so on. There are other farming games out there, especially mobile, but none of them have this owning aspect that we have. I think that makes a ton of difference. Um, so yeah, I mean, if you're asking like how are we attracting people to farming games, like it's we, it's that's not how games work, right? Usually you do like this is the best farming game that we can make and we can put out in the market, and that will attract people who are interested in that. Plus a couple other things like owning your own buildings, being able to trade them and so on. Yeah, it's that's it.
That's all I have for questions from the form. I know I answered a ton of them in the chat the other day. and I just made like a whole list of answers, so I'm not going to run through all of those again. Let's see here. Live Q&A. There's some questions on here, but I don't know if they're from this week or from last week.
Yeah, I've been capturing them during the AMA. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, so let's do some live Q&A. I've got one that says, during the fast forward period, when I'm looking at the percent loading screen, will my town be fast forwarded for the lost time?
Yeah, that was actually a question from this morning. And that is an edge case, right? Or a regular case, but your town, that time will be lost. So we're thinking about ways to work around that. We don't want to put too much time into short-term fixes because the long-term fix is offline. Your town is caught up while you're not even around. So then when you log in and you do fast forward, it only takes a few seconds. But there are possibilities. So yeah, to answer your question, yes, if your fast forward takes 2 minutes, that 2 minutes is not accounted for during the fast forward.
All right, the next question that you gathered here says, time limited competitions, what can you build in 8 hours a day? We are ever going to do that, or with all competitions always be 24 hours in a 24-hour period? I'm not
Sounds
quite
like
sure
a
what that means.
Musashi question.
Yeah,
That one was, they were saying like, hey, could we do it where the max amount of time you could play in a day is 8 hours? So everybody has, quote, a fair number of minutes in a day they could do a competition. And I think that comes up a lot, right?
Oh, is that the question of having variable starting times? So we've answered that before. Um, usually it's so in my experience working in live ops, working in games, it's better to have these set times, and 24 hours make it fair in a way that you have a reasonable starting time where people can start playing. Now that we have offline play or fast forward, it's a little easier for people to come in and out of the game. They don't have to have the game open all the time. But we are looking at different types of competitions and different amounts of time, right? So we were actually discussing yesterday. Hey, we can have, this 3-day competition. We can have a 1-day competition, 2-day competitions. They don't have to overlap. We can cover other times in the game. So right now we don't have a rewarded competition over the weekend. We have the test competitions. So definitely looking at more variations for competitions that can also target other players, right? One thing that people were asking just now was, how are we planning to attract new players? Well, it's hard to attract new players if they get into the game, they start playing a competition, and they see that there's no way to catch up, right? So, can we create a competition that is mostly for noobs? And that's something that I think it's very valuable long term. So, yeah, different talks about competitions, and we have tech in the work for all of that.
Interesting. What would you think about a cap where you could only play your town for like 8 hours a day max in a competition?
No, I mean we've answered that before. It's I've tried that in other games, and it's usually kind of problematic. There's
Mhm.
a lot of potential for people cheating. Like you can say, "Oh, I'm gonna use this account and get a head start, and then I'll mess up, right? And I'll try with my other account 2 hours later, 3 hours later, knowing what's coming, right? So it can create some problems. So usually, what we've done is just say, nope, everybody starts at the same time,
Hmm.
ends at the same time.
Okay.
All right, the next question. Oh, sorry.
No other questions?
Yeah, I think we've got a couple more here. There's one that says, can we get the image assets like NFT icons in a public download site somewhere? I'm trying to build a tool, but I don't know where to download those. It would make it a lot easier to use them instead of taking screen captures.
Yeah, I'll take that one. We're, as part of each build, we have an opportunity that we could publish some publicly available stuff. It's awesome, I think, as a dev, when people are adopting your game and building third-party tools, that seems like a great sign that people want to build playbooks and external tools and all that. We'll have to see what the team thinks about publishing those assets, but we're under no illusion that people are incapable of taking screenshots anyway. So if you're going to do it anyway, we might as well. And it only takes us a little bit of time. We might as well do it. But no promises. We'll think about it and see what we could do. Let's see. Next question. I'm gonna jump down. I'm gonna steal the mic from Michelle.
Stealing my
for a second.
MC job. That's all right.
Sure, man. That's
You're
okay.
DJing.
What?
There was a question about what can we do, and this was in chat quite a bit here too. I have all this cash in my game now. What can we do it after building the full town? I was wondering if Musashi, do you have any ideas? What should a player do when they're sitting on 100 million cash in the game?
I mean, you need that. You also need that cash, right, to keep the town going. I know that before there was a feature in the old game that allowed people to use some of that cash. Um, but right now we have other plans that are focusing on new players, not on giving these other features to veteran players. And I think that should be our priority. As I said before, we want the game to grow. We want to attract new players. So that's our main focus right now. But if we have the bandwidth, we definitely want to get back and try some of the features here regarding what can I do with the cash. What you could do potentially is buy decorations. Like that's something that we wanted people to do eventually, like be able to say, okay, let's free these up at this point, right? But that of course ties more into a persistent town than our factory towns. What's the next
Cool.
question?
Next one is about Gala Chain. I think somebody needed a little bit of clarity about what are our plans for the Townstar NFTs on it. Do you want to think we should reiterate that?
We've discussed it many times, but I think
Yeah.
that what we can reiterate here is Gala Chain is in the works. We have, I think, is the best chain engineer in the company working on that.
Yeah.
If I can say that myself, so that's pretty awesome. And he's building the infrastructure for the game to get into Gala Chain. So what we'll do is start minting the new NFTs on Gala Chain. That doesn't mean that the old NFTs will be immediately phased out, the ETH ones. You should be able to use them for a while, but at some point we do want things to be bridged over, right? So no immediate plans for asking people to book, transfer them, or anything like that. We just want to get all the benefits of Gala Chain in the new NFTs at first, and we'll take it from there. So expect that in around four weeks, I think. That's our current ETA.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's cool.
Cool. So I see that's all the questions we have. What's next for Michelle?
I think we got to touch on what is going on sale this week. It looks like Papa Panner and Sylvester are the two that are going to be in the store this week as individual items, and the other two, Goldie and Cooper, will be the following week. The price for Papa Panner individually is $250, and there's 130 supply, and Sylvester is $135, and there's 130 supply of that also. So it should be in the store later today, probably at whatever time we usually do it, 10 a.m., 11 a.m. PST, so a couple hours from now. Yeah, 2 hours probably.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I've got for sales.
Yeah, we're not. So just a heads up here, we're not doing a new sale or introducing a new NFT. We're just putting these things that were in some packs available for individual purchase for it still has a discount, but it doesn't have the discount that you have with the full family pack or the brothers pack. So we'll just make them available, two of them, and next week you'll get the other two that are missing. So that will complete the 6 NFTs of the curious and interesting Panner family in the game. So no new sales. What else for Michelle? I think we move on to leaks, right?
Yeah, I don't have a ton of leaks because this next competition is the Golden Heart Necklace, which we leaked last week. There's no changes to it, which we already said. It's the same biome. Everything is going to be the same for that. The reward for that is the Hasty Foundry, in case anyone forgot. So that will be the walking speed of your foundry workers, and a certain percent by rarity.
So
The-
wait, the foundry workers will be faster with that reward.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's pretty cool.
I do like to see my workers walk around faster.
So we shared last week, so you also can see it in the game. The competition cards are up. But just a reminder, the biome is Forest North, no oil state panners instead of farmers, and Desert North, Ocean East, Forest South, and River West. Right? Trade time is 240 seconds, and gold is cash boosted, correct?
Yes, gold is cash boosted. It's currently 6,200. It'll be going back to 4,880 after this event ends. I think previously it was at like 2,600, but it's going to be 4,880 each after this event ends. And that'll be its
Got
new
it.
standard value.
So can we give any hint of the next competition, or is it too early? What do you think?
We can certainly
Hmm.
hint at it if you'd like to.
When gold or store we're seeing in the chat.
The gold ore storage is for playing in the month of August, which hasn't ended yet. So that won't be sent until September. The silver ore storage, which we already talked about earlier in this AMA, should be out today or Monday, I would think.
Okay, so gold or storage is the August reward. It will go out the first days of September, guys. As Farmer Michelle said, that's pretty cool. And I see a lot of people saying yes or no in the chat. What does that mean? What are you guys fighting about?
It looks like people want to make jam. I haven't made jam in a long time in the game. It's a good guess, but jam is not what the next meta is. You guys have any other guesses? It's not wine.
Pure energy.
We did that. Didn't we do that relatively recently? That was a crazy meta.
Blue steel. I thought you guys wanted stack boxes. Isn't that everyone's favorite?
It's not my favorite.
I'm joking. I'm joking. Okay, so remember, guys, that we are our current schedule is that we're doing a couple of new competitions, then a couple of old competitions. So we'll get something interesting next week, and then we'll go back to an older competition. But be on the lookout because right now we're focusing on gold heart necklace, which is pretty awesome. You know, you can use your strawberries to get there, which is a great move for strawberry stands owners, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so yeah, that's the info for this week. I think I don't think we have any other leaks right now. Please check out the test competitions. We're still fixing some bugs, so be on the lookout for those updates. And let's see if there are any outstanding questions before we sign off. Any questions on Discord, guys?
I feel like I saw a question, but I gotta scroll so far to see it now because everybody was talking about jam and stuff. Crap. I lost it.
Someone saying beer. I don't think we can do beer. Oh, well, we have wine, so we should be able to.
Beer would definitely be fun to make. Get into the Townstar craft beer operation.
Yeah, so this wine and beer in the game makes me a little nervous because with so many years in mobile gaming, when you put beer or wine or any type of drugs in your game, Google and Apple are like, so we'll bump up the rating on your game. So we usually try to avoid that so that more people could play it. But we
That
do
makes
have
sense.
Chardonnay and other things. Champagne, gold steel. What is gold steel?
There's no such thing as gold steel. I don't know why you would put gold in your steel. seems like a strange thing to do. There's no gold steel. All right, I found that question that I was looking for. Someone was asking if it would be possible for us, and I know we've talked about it before, but I'm not sure we talked about it in AMA, to make things
Mhm.
like the windmills have different arts depending on what they're crafting, so they didn't even have to click on it. They could just see, these 4 are making sugar, these 5 are making flour.
Ah, that's interesting. Well, that's an interesting idea. I think that the potential for that is that we'll like if we have assets for each thing that it's being built for the buildings, that would bump up the amount of assets that your browser needs to download, right? So maybe we can find another way to do that. Like, is there an icon that we can put on top, right, in a way that it makes it very clear what's going on in that building without touching it? But changing the full asset, I think that that would just make it a little harder for people to download the game. It would just make the game way heavier, right? Especially for as many buildings as we have in the game. But that's a pretty good ask, you know. How can I look at my buildings and know immediately what's being crafted on each one? I think that's a pretty fair ask. So we can definitely think about that. That's a pretty cool idea. And
Yeah, I'm not sure how it would be possible, but it does sound cool. Even for like the bakery, it'd be hard to trying to
right.
imagine what a butter bakery versus a dough bakery would look like.
I mean, there are ways to show that information without necessarily changing the full building, right? That's what I mean. The good thing is that we have a one of the best UI designers in the company. Just taking a look at the game, he's going through screens. This is a leak, maybe I shouldn't say it, but we have an expert going and saying, "Hey, maybe you can improve this here, share more information there." So I'll ask him about this, which I think could be a good feature for people to know what's going on more easily. Apart from that, I see a lot of suggestions for new metas, and the one that I love personally was Cambra's suggestion. Why not do sangria? You know, I'm not Spanish, but we do drink a lot of sangria here in my country, and that would be, we can do strawberries and some type of wine and call it sangria, which you should definitely try if you haven't. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, we have sangria in the game. I think it's a
Oh, you
Chardonnay
have
and
already.
strawberries. Yep.
Okay, that's pretty awesome. We should definitely have a competition like that again, or introduce a local variety. We have some pretty cool sangrias here. We have navegado, which is wine and orange, and that's heated up. So that's like, I think you call it mulled wine, maybe. Is that how you say in English? Mulled wine?
Uh,
Sure.
no.
Yeah,
No?
I've seen that phrase.
Oh, really? Oh, for us, it's
Yes,
like
Yeah.
mulled wine. Yes, mulled mulled.
Ah, yes.
yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. I think it's making fun of Musashi's accent day today. Is that what's
Oh,
going on here?
no.
I think your accent is cool.
Okay, thank you. I see. I'm saying, what about watermelon sangria? I've never heard that before. Is that an actual thing?
I don't know. It sounds delicious though. The watermelon doesn't have a ton of flavor.
That's see, Camera saying Mr. Musashi. I said it last week. Mr. Musashi is my dad. Please don't call me that. Cool. So if there are no other questions, then we'll get back to our release and fixing some of the issues that are remaining. I think there's a bug with Greenforge that I need to check out. And thank you, everybody. As you know, next week we'll have an outline of the tokenomics plan, more information on what's coming next for the game, and notes, of course. And yeah, so please check out the test competition. Let us know any issues that you see. We want Tuesday's competition to be very clean, so let us know. Everyone good here on stage? If there's
Yeah.
nothing more, then thank you guys. Have a good
Thanks,
day.
everybody.
Thank
And
you,
Like and
everybody.
subscribe.
I've been told, as always, like and subscribe, guys. I keep forgetting that at the end. So like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week.
All right.
Thanks,
Thanks so
everybody.
much.
See you later.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. See you later.
Bye.